What is your American dream?
My dream has always been the same. Watch my kids grow up. Be there for them, to support them in any way that I can. And then watch them. I mean, my life basically has been over already. It's all about the kids. Once you start having kids, it's all about them. And I love my kids dearly. They love me to death. And I'm here for them. And, watch my daughter, graduate from high school, and hopefully to college, see her raise her own family. That would be my dream.
Everyone has a right to the American dream.
Bernstein. I'm joined as always by Yonathan. Yo-Yo Elias. It is Tuesday, January 25th. What are you doing with your fingers there? What is that? Are you dancing?
I don't know.
Is this what is this?
What's up? Is
that what that is?
That's what it is.
Okay, I didn't know what this is.
What's up?
That's just like your little happy
It's
dance.
my little happy dance.
Your little happy dance.
What's up?
All right, what's up, squad? How are you? It is Tuesday, January 25th. I just turned and I said,
and you saw
I
me
saw you doing that, and I have
moving.
to tell you, in the years we've been doing this, I've never seen you move like that
Really?
before. I've seen lots of your moves. Okay, I thought I knew all of your moves actually by now.
Never underestimate.
That was a new one.
That's a new one, and
It was a new
I
move.
might have some new ones coming up too.
This is 2022. We took a couple weeks off, and Yo-Yo's practicing new moves for the new year.
You know what I mean? I've just been sitting down thinking about how I'm going to start the show.
It's very funny because I texted you at the beginning of the year, right before we came back on. I said, how's everything? And you said, I'm making moves.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking.
That's what I meant.
I'm thinking when you say I'm making moves.
Yeah.
All right, you're bringing it to the next level. I didn't know that you were literally just making moves in your apartment for the show.
Just wait till you see my whole notebook of moves.
I misunderstood that entire text message. I'm like, that's good for you. Congratulations.
I want to know, squad, when y'all saw me doing this, did you know what I meant? You had to have known.
You're texting me, he's making moves, and I'm totally misinterpreting what you were telling me. All right, let's say hello to the squad. Sean Grant, squad up. Matthias Goodwin, squad up. Willie L. Williams, squad up. How are you? Sasha Robinson, Denisha Joseph. Hey, Bratty.
Hey.
Bratty.
Bratty.
But it's not with a T. If she said, hey, Bratty with a T, I'd be like, what you talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, but Bratty, that's, I guess, more endearment.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's apple pie. It's apple pie. It's apple pie. Squad
Gotta
up.
say it 3 times.
So
Make sure she is.
Yesterday she didn't hear me.
I know. She gonna hear you today.
That's right.
I think everybody around the building heard you just now.
Got it. Denisha Joseph, Sasha Robinson, squad up. Carol the Tiger, Jessica Levy, sharing as always. Jewel Delph. By the way, sharing is caring, right?
Yes,
Yo-Yo?
it is. Yes, it is.
Yes. So Jessica Levy shares to us. I'm sure she shares to other people as well.
Yes.
It definitely is caring. Violet Blackwood, squad up, everybody. And by the way, Denisha Joseph saying I'm looking sportish.
Yeah, a lot of people are talking about our laid-back looks today.
Yeah,
Very
well,
sporty.
you know what? It's laid back Tuesday. I'm sorry, it's Tuesday tea.
Tuesday tea. Don't take away my favorite day.
It's not laid back Tuesday.
No, it's not.
No.
No.
It's terrific Tuesday tea.
Willie L. Williams said he thought you were just crazy. Maybe is he talking about us? I
think it's your dance.
Oh, is that you talking about my dance?
I think he's talking about your dance.
I am a little crazy.
You are. But let me tell you something, Willie L. Williams. If in order to identify crazy, you got to be a little crazy too.
This is very true.
That's right. You can't identify crazy unless you're a little crazy too, right?
I agree.
So right back at you, Willie L.
There you
Williams,
go.
right?
You just told on yourself.
Dawn Harriet, squad up. Christy Gonzalez, squad up. And who else we got here? Grace Holoman. Let's see what's going on YouTube. Antique Petite.
Oh,
That's a
hey.
new one, Mtique Petite.
I like that name too.
I like that too.
Mtique Petite.
What is that a picture? Let me see what she looks like. Mtique, it's a woman, right? It's hard to tell. I have bad eyes.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Can't see.
But she looks like an attractive, perhaps petite woman.
Yeah, I'm
Welcome.
sure she is.
Welcome, squad up.
Yeah, squad up.
Yeah, it's a new name. I was just looking to see who she is. Jamie Barra, squad up Folly Babe, saying, hi, Brad, great job. Thank you very much. Susie Q Mac, always watching. Denver Sow, how are you? The Top Cat is double fisting, Yo-Yo.
Yeah.
You know what double fisting is?
Yes, I do.
Does everybody know what double fisting is?
Well, if you guys don't know, then we'll tell you right now. Do you want to tell them?
You
want
tell
me to
them.
All right, double fisting is when you are tuning in on Facebook and also tuning in on YouTube.
That's
so
right.
you're using both fists.
There you got it. Adashandra, squad up. Daryl Winneba, how are you? Earth Angel Pertz, squad up. Judith Primo saying hi, Brad. Carol Burrell, with lots of different comments. Jelly, everyone. It's been a minute since I've been here. I missed you all. I love the Brad Squad.
Oh, why has it been a minute?
Where have you been? Where have you been?
Don't do that.
Richard N saying hi, guys. And Christine Dugan saying hello, Brad. And Mtique Petite not realizing she was going to get called out, going, OMG!
Listen, it's all love. It's all love.
It is. Yonathan, take it away.
Absolutely. All right, squad, you already know what time it is. Just like we said earlier, sharing is caring.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Public service announcement from Mtique Petite. I've been mispronouncing her name. It is Amik Petite.
It is Amik Petite.
All right, continue now. Welcome, Amik Petite.
Amik Petite.
Yes.
He's probably going to start calling you Mtique.
Yeah, I never get anybody's name right.
He has a nickname for literally everybody. So you are currently and probably always going to be Mtique.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. But deep in my heart, I know the real name.
Of course. So it's actually a compliment to have a nickname. All right. So like I said.
By the way, now everyone's going to be like, what's my nickname? I mean,
mostly everybody has a nickname.
Yeah.
All right, so like I said, you guys, sharing is caring, so make sure you share on all platforms, social media platforms. It's super easy. There's a little arrow that says share. Share it to your friends, your family, because we're about to start schmoozing with Brad. We're going to be talking headlines, including debunking false information, Republican Texas Rep Ronny Jackson, a doctor who served as White House physician to Presidents Barack Obama and Donald Trump, recently tweeted about undocumented immigrants.
I have a public service
And
announcement
what's up?
for Yo-Yo. Now I lost it.
Oh.
Who was saying that you have that Tyler Perry vibe going? Darsh Singh. Who was it?
Tyler Perry.
I missed it. Darsh Singh saying that Yo-Yo is vibing Tyler Perry right now.
Wow, am I vibing his billions of dollars as well?
No.
I hope so.
No, you are not.
So what part of Tyler Perry am I?
Because if you were, this would be the Yo-Yo show. This would no longer be the Brad show.
I would like to know what part of Tyler Perry I am channeling. I'm hoping it's the money part.
Not just the shirt, the look.
The look?
You have the look.
Oh, okay.
Right, you got the look going. You
right.
don't have, by the way, Jessica Leamy, also public service announcement. She believes she has the best nickname of everybody.
Yeah, Jessica Leamy. Yeah, absolutely. Like, you would never know that it's just call me Joel.
Continue.
Yes. All right, guys. And remember, today is my favorite day, Tuesday tea time. So you already know what that means. We're going to be talking celebrity tea, including exciting 2022 Winter Olympics news coming out of the Caribbean island nation of Jamaica. I'm super excited about this because we're going to be talking about bobsledding.
Cool
runnings. And we're going to talk about that show, that movie. We'll talk about like what I didn't even know that it was
a real story.
It
was a real story. I mean, they made it into a comedy, but the idea was real.
Yeah,
obviously,
I think they haven't been in the Winter Olympics since
over 20 years.
Yeah, 1988. So
a long time, maybe longer.
Congratulations, Jamaica. We're gonna be talking,
and they have a GoFundMe page too. But we will be talking about it.
We'll be talking about it.
And of course, you can give us a call at 1-800-529-5465. Although we have lots of fun here on Bradshaw Live, we always say, come for the immigration advice, stay for the fun. The immigration advice is coming up in about 20-25 minutes. you call us at 1-800-529-5465. If you call right now, we have open lines. You will get to answer. You will get me to answer your immigration questions. 1-800-529-5465 international +1 212-227-8933. So you can call us from all over the world if you'd like. In addition, that is the telephone number to my office. Always during the show, there's always a comment at some point where somebody says, "Hey Brad, how do I get in contact with you?" Well, all you had to do is follow, Yo-Yo, hands please, follow the bottom of the screen, thank you very much. You follow the bottom of the screen and you can call us 24 hours a day, 1-800-529-5465. Willie L. Williams is in a snowstorm. It's apple pie is...
Asking what's mine.
It's apple pie.
It's apple pie.
I mean,
sweet as pie.
You made your own one.
Right.
And she's repping Jamaica right now. It's apple pie.
Yeah, everybody
with the
up in the
flags.
comments right now.
Yes. All right.
Straight.
You ready to go to some schmoozing?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Do this one more time. I just won't pay attention.
Right.
I thought we had the coffee going. I was just looking at the news. I didn't realize that right on came straight.
They got to see a little BTS.
Yeah, a little behind the scenes. That's a little behind the scenes. Glad I didn't do anything.
I'm surprised you wasn't stretching.
I usually am stretching. I'm like, you sit here in this chair for 2 hours, your hamstrings get tight.
Hopefully they don't do that during the social media check-in, because that's when you actually stretch.
Yeah. All right. So the idiot of the week goes to none other than Representative Ronny Jackson. He used to be the White House chief doctor to both President Barack Obama and Donald Trump. Why we're calling him the idiot of the week? We should have that. Should be a new feature.
Right.
The idiot of the week, according to Brad Show Live. I mean, we could pick. I mean, we can pick a lot of them.
Yeah.
Well, I'm picking him this week.
All right.
Because he tweeted out to more than 190,000 of his Twitter followers on Sunday, January 16th. So what was that? That was this past Sunday, right? And I'm quoting now. This is not me. This is Representative Republican, Representative from Texas, Ronny Jackson. In 2022, illegal immigrants will have more freedoms and easier access to health care and the ballot box than most Americans. Just think about that.
Like what?
How about let's think about this. There is absolutely nothing in that sentence that he tweeted out to 190,000 people that got retweeted another 3,100 times. There's absolutely nothing true in there other than perhaps it was grammatically correct. Perhaps. I don't even know if it was grammatically correct. Number one, undocumented immigrants are prohibited from voting. They could not get any government medical assistance unless it is a dire emergency. Because the government's not going to allow somebody to die in the streets.
Right.
So if it is life and death, yes, an immigrant can, even undocumented, apply for Medicaid for government emergency assistance in a life and death situation where if you don't get medical care, you will die.
Right.
I don't have a problem with keeping somebody alive.
I don't either. That's the humane thing to do.
Can you imagine you kick somebody out of a hospital saying, go die in the street?
No.
Okay. Other than that, undocumented immigrants are not entitled to unemployment insurance. They're out of a job. They can't get any government assistance.
Right.
Not like us fat cat Americans who've been getting unemployment during COVID for like 2 years now, right?
Yep.
It's true.
Didn't even want to come back to work because of that.
They can't get Medicaid. They can't vote in a federal election.
Right.
But by the way, the law requires them to pay taxes anyway. They're paying taxes, most of them.
Yeah.
Or many of them. Paying taxes and get no benefits out of it.
Yeah.
So, shove that up your tuchus. Stupid guy. All right, but you know what's stupid about it? People believe this crap.
Of course.
Okay, people believe this crap. It got retweeted 3,100 times, and some idiot sitting in his bed in South Dakota. Why I say South Dakota? I don't know.
Right.
But I could have picked any one of the 50 states. I'm not picking on South Dakota. But some idiot sitting in his bed in South Dakota believes this crap.
Yeah. You need to, like, he's going to have to, people with these platforms, they're going to have to start thinking before they tweet. Like, you have hundreds of thousands, and some of you guys have millions of followers. Like, you can't just pull stuff out your butt just because you want to.
And you want to know what? It goes back to the bigger the lie, the more believable it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The bigger. I mean, it just. We say this all the time since Trump came onto the scene. Since Trump came onto the scene, it's the same thing. Let's come up with a bigger lie. It'll be more believable.
Right. Sick.
And we're back to Cold War, Yonathan.
What?
We are back to the Cold War. There is 150,000 Russian troops on the border of Ukraine right now. President Putin of Russia is threatening to invade Ukraine within days, within hours, within weeks, with 150,000 troops to overrun the country, put in a pro-Russian government. They believe, President Putin believes, that Ukraine is part of the former Soviet Union, part of Russia. There is a big percentage of people who are ethnic Russians, could even be a majority, I don't know the exact number. Many who want to be part of Russia, not all of them.
Right.
Ukraine right now, they use the dollar. So everything, you pay for everything in dollars there in Ukraine. They are trying to get westernized. They have a democratically elected president right now, President Zelensky. If you remember the whole thing from Trump, he was withholding military assistance to get Zelensky to come up with some BS about Joe Biden.
Right.
Because Zelensky knew the Russians were coming after him, and Trump was putting, if you remember going back, Trump was holding hostage Ukraine's security to get himself reelected again.
Right.
Well, now the piper has arrived at the border. Biden is putting 8,500 troops, not in Ukraine because they're not part of NATO, but in neighboring countries, Romania and other countries that are part of NATO right now, as a buffer, as a warning to President Putin if he were to invade Ukraine and overtake it. Europe is very concerned because that's now Russia is right on European doorstep. What does that mean for Europe? Europe gets 1/3 of their oil and natural gas, especially Germany, from a Russian pipeline.
Oh, wow.
So now Europe goes to war against Russia. What's happening to the oil pipeline? Europe decides to give sanctions to Russia. Russia can cut off oil.
Yeah.
Just today, the United States made plans with, they didn't say what countries, but most people believe Saudi Arabia and some of the other oil-producing OPEC countries to provide oil and natural gas to Europe. Should Russia invade Ukraine? Should Europe and the United States give sanctions? Should there even be a war?
Right.
Who knows? And these are the two biggest nuclear powers in the entire world, with 14,000 plus nuclear weapons pointed at each other that can go off in 60 seconds.
Wow.
So when people say Ukraine doesn't matter to me, well, if you live in Ukraine, it's got to matter. Okay? If you live in that area, it's got to matter. But it's also got to matter to the whole world, because here you have the Russia and the United States. This is like the Cuban Missile Crisis all over again.
Yeah.
When Russia put nuclear weapons into Cuba and the United States circled Cuba in the 1960s, the world almost went to World War III and nuclear Armageddon until Russia backed off. It's similar because Russia is now scared. Put yourself in Russia's position. Russia says two things. Number one, you know what? This is my neighbor. Okay, I can't have the United States and Western European democracies at our border with military and perhaps even nuclear weapons should Ukraine eventually get brought into the NATO alliance. It was similar to Mexico deciding to invite Russia, or Canada. What would the United States say if Canada or Mexico decided to invite Russia, okay, to come and put their military there?
Right.
What do you think the United States would do, or say, or think? So that's what Russia's saying.
Yeah.
And number two, a majority, or if not a great majority, are Russians there to begin with. So they feel that it's part of their country to begin with. So they have a gripe. They got a gripe. You can look from both sides. From they're an independent country, Ukraine. They did not ask to be invaded by Russia. They're not asking Russia to come in and put in a different government. They have a right to self-determination.
Right.
They have a right to determine who they're going to align with, whether the West or Russia. This is Russia flexing its muscles again. Putin's 70 years old or close to it. He's going to be off the world stage soon, so he has to leave his legacy.
Right.
His legacy may be a war.
Yeah.
It's very scary. I mean, war can break out at any moment.
Wow.
What's interesting is if you're living in the Ukraine, the leaders are playing it down as if nothing's happening. Don't worry. Yeah. I don't know if that's because they don't want people to be scared. Or,
I feel like that's what it is.
Or they are trying to placate the Russians, or some combination of the two.
But probably a combination of the two.
Right. Now, I mean, the Russians say this. They want the Europeans and NATO to back out of Eastern Europe. They want a promise that Ukraine will never be part of NATO. I don't know where the compromise is here. I don't know where the compromise here is. I mean, certainly NATO and the West are not going to retreat out of Eastern Europe. Ukraine's not joining NATO anytime soon, so that's an easy one to give up,
right?
At least in the short term. But I don't know where the compromise is. It's very scary what's going on there. And for those who don't think it's important to them because this is Ukraine, this is the United States and Russia, the two biggest nuclear powers in the world, facing off against each other.
So it is pretty big.
It's pretty big. Meanwhile, according to the Department of Homeland Security intelligence bulletin obtained by CNN, Russia would consider conducting a cyber attack on U.S. homeland if Moscow perceived that a United States or NATO response to a potential Russian invasion of the Ukraine threatened Russia's long-term national security. I wouldn't be surprised if there's all sorts of different hacking. United States hacking Russia, Russia hacking the United States.
Right.
It's very, very similar to what was going on between Israel and Iran. There's there's a lot of people who follow international relations say, what goes on in the Middle East is like off Broadway, and then it eventually comes to Broadway between the United States and Russia.
Yeah.
So for the last 10 years, Israel and Iran have been having this shadow war against each other, Iran being backed by Russia, Israel being backed by the United States and the West, having this shadow war of cyber attacking each other, blowing up each other's computer, whatever you have it.
Right.
So that was off Broadway. It may be coming to Broadway now.
It's looking like it.
Between Russia and the United States. Coming back here locally, not locally, but in the United States of America, the Supreme Court announced it's going to reconsider race-based affirmative action for college admissions.
Oh.
Yeah. The justices said they're going to hear challenges to policies at Harvard and the University of North Carolina that use students' race among many criteria to decide who should gain the place in the entering class. Now, the High Court conservatives have increasingly cast aside decades-old decisions, and their acceptance of this appeal throws in doubt whether or not race can be considered amongst many factors. It's not the only factor. You're black, you're Asian, you're this, you get in, you don't. It's considered among many factors, your grades, your extracurricular, everything. But it just is another factor to consider so that colleges are multicultural and not ethnocentric, I guess would be the word. Right? Is that a word?
I don't know.
Yes, thank you
That
very much.
sounds-
Joe says that's a good word.
That's a great word.
That's a good word, yeah. Chief Justice John Roberts. See, the problem is most people now believe that since there's about 6 conservatives, there's 5 conservatives, Roberts is a swing vote, and 3 liberals. So to get anything passed from the liberal perspective, you got to convince Chief Justice Roberts, and you got to convince one of the conservatives. Because there's 9 justices, 4 conservative, 3 liberal, and Roberts swing.
Right.
No, I'm sorry.
There's
Three liberal, 5 conservative, and Roberts is a swing. It's 6-3 or 5-4. I did my math wrong. So Justice Roberts, he's on record of long opposed racial policies in any sort of acceptance to higher education. He wrote, "It is a sordid business, this divvying up by race. The way to stop, this is Roberts writing. The way to stop discrimination on the basis of race is to stop discriminating on the basis of race." Meaning that race should not be considered at all in the college acceptance. If you believe everybody starts at the same level. From a perspective of that's a good theory to have, race should not be considered if everybody comes in on an equal playing field.
Okay.
But if the playing field's not equal,
It's
that's
not
that's the whole idea behind affirmative action.
Exactly.
That the playing field is not equal. It's unequal. So to make it equal, they consider race amongst many of the factors
right.
to be considered.
Not saying it's the only.
It's
like
not
you
the
said.
only, but it's of many.
I agree. Yeah.
But Chief Justice Roberts, in his ivory tower, the roses, jumping through the roses of the rose garden, or jumping through the tulips in a perfect utopian world. I agree with him 100%. If this was the United States of Utopia instead of the United States of America, yes, race should not be considered at all.
Right.
We shouldn't consider whether you're black, yellow, green, purple, Asian, Jew. We don't care. Best person wins. By all means, I'm all in favor of that.
But that's if the playing fields were fair. It's not.
If it's an equal playing field.
And it's not.
Okay, but it's not fair, okay, if you played a baseball game, okay, and one team has metal bats, which means the ball can be hit much further, and one team has wood bats. If you got a wood bat, you can't hit the ball as far. You hit the ball much further with a metal bat. A lot of people have metal bats. They have families that can give them tutors. They have families that can put them in better schools. They have families that are even in public schools that are funded better to learn better, to give more opportunity.
You have schools that have a name. So like if the university sees that you went to this school, they'll look at yours, different. So it's not an even playing field.
If it was an even playing field, you wouldn't need affirmative action laws.
Right.
Hopefully, Chief Justice Roberts, we get there at one point. Wouldn't that be a beautiful place?
That would be an amazing
right?
place.
I mean, I agree with him. The way to stop discrimination on the basis of race is to stop discriminating on the basis of race. Except minorities have been discriminating from birth to 18.
Right.
Okay, if they weren't being discriminated against from birth to 18 and everybody was making an application even, you're 100% right. I agree with you.
And this is exactly,
But this is So the argument
we agree with his
theory.
his theory, because there's even the girl Haley, the new Little Mermaid girl, and different different roles that we have been getting as a black as black performers that used to be a white performer's role.
Right.
They have been doing blind auditions where they're just listening to their talents and they're actually just going through that, and that's who's getting it, because you want to stop the discrimination. So like let's start as an even playing field. It's like that's off of talent, but you can't do that with this.
Yeah, you can't say we're not going to consider race when race has been considered in everything that's happened from birth to 17.
Exactly.
When you make that application, or 18, whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah, sorry.
Clarence Thomas, am I right or wrong here?
You're right.
Okay. Meanwhile, Clarence Thomas, who happens to be a black, right? Right, there he is. Okay. Black person, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I was going to say a black American, but then that would demean.
Because you don't know if
We know what McConnell said, so I stopped myself. I was just trying to make it clear, black person.
yes.
Right. But he wrote, every time the government places citizens on racial registers and makes race relevant to the provision of burdens or benefits, it demeans us all. Yes. Every time we put somebody in a category of race, you are also 100% right.
Right.
But we're putting everybody in race from birth to 17, Clarence. So when we get to the point when we are not putting anybody in racial registers from the time they're born to the time they're making the freaking application for college, Chief Justice Roberts and Justice Clarence Thomas, I agree with you. 100%.
Right.
It is demeaning. Nobody wants, I don't want to be called a Jewish American. I happen to be a Jewish religion, but I'm an American. Mm-hmm. Okay? You want to be black American or American? Just American.
Yeah, well.
Right?
I'm African American.
You call yourself African American?
Yeah, my parents are
well,
African.
African, right.
And
but
I was born in America.
But you're still an American. Mm-hmm. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm Jewish, but I'm still American.
I don't mind being called African American, though.
Okay. I just think everybody should be American.
Yeah.
You're American, you're American.
Yeah.
Okay? Because when you call yourself, you can be proud of your heritage, but American's American. You have an American passport, you're American. And then we don't deal with race at all. That's when we can come to the point where it shouldn't matter.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. People can disagree with me. Go ahead, disagree with me, people.
It's okay. It's okay.
That's how I look at it. All right, and I'll let you have the last word.
Yeah. I mean, everything we said, I went to school in the city in LA, in Long Beach. So I know that there were certain peers that I knew from other schools that had a lot more, we'll say, funding. They had a lot more opportunities to reach, extracurricular activities that we didn't get just because of where we were. And from that being said, you can't just take away race when you see people out here in Upper East Side that have a lot more opportunities.
If there was a way to take race out from birth to 17, just very simple. Okay, explain to me how we take race out from birth to 17. Mm-hmm. Everybody's on an equal playing field. It shouldn't matter.
Yeah.
Until that time comes, it matters.
Agreed.
Number 9, I already put my cards down. The challenge to this was all developed by conservative activist Edward Blum, who has long protested racial policies and who engineered the lawsuit that led to Justice's 2013 case of Shelby County versus Holder. That 5-4 decision eliminated a key part of the 1965 Voting Rights Act that required states with a history of discrimination to obtain Department of Justice approval before adding voter identification criteria or making other electoral changes. Okay.
All right.
We have to go to COVID. The Biden administration said today it will not be enforcing the federal employee vaccine mandate because a Texas judge blocked the vaccine mandate. A judge in New York yesterday blocked the mask mandate.
Right.
An appeals court judge put the mask mandate back in. And everybody, I'll give you my opinion on this one too. You want my opinion on this?
Yeah.
I can make it very simple. Everybody's arguing about you have the right and liberty to your own body. And again, if this was the United States of utopia, yes, you have the right to put what you want on your own body, including a mask, including a vaccine.
Right.
You also have the right, come back to me. Come back to me. You also have the right to do this, right? I can do this all day. Who's going to stop me? You know where this right ends? When I hit you in the nose with my fist.
Exactly.
Okay?
Because it affects me now.
Correct. So my right to swing my hands wildly end at the tip of your nose. And it's the same thing. I can make it very simple. It's the same thing with mask mandates and vaccine. Your right to do what you want with your body ends with when you affect what happens to my body.
Right.
And then if your right to do with your body ends what happens with my body, it's the same thing. You have the right to go hunt, you don't have the right to shoot somebody. Okay? You have the right to drive a car, but you don't have the right to drive over somebody. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing. Okay? My right to swing my hands wildly ends at the tip of Yo-Yo's nose. When I hit Yo-Yo, I don't have the right to do that. So when you affect my body, now that's to me a different situation.
So with that argument, that kind of
that's the argument.
Yeah, that with that, which I agree, but with that argument, does that kind of only fall in the mask mandate? Because with the vaccine, here, let me say,
okay,
because with the vaccine, if you get the vaccine, you could still get COVID. You know, so now with the mask, now you're protecting me, but you getting a vaccine is not protecting me.
Not necessarily.
Because you still get COVID with the booster,
COVID, but it's less likely.
No, you still get it. That's what I mean.
I'll tell you how it
affects. That was way more than.
I will tell you how it affects. Okay, it affects you because we are now having a pandemic of the unvaccinated, who are overwhelming our emergency rooms and hospitals. More than 90% of the people who are ill and dying in the hospitals are unvaccinated. Now all of a sudden I have a heart attack. There's no room for me in the hospital.
Now that's when it affects.
That's when it affects me.
There we go.
Okay. Number one. Number two, somebody's got to pay for all of this, which is the U.S. taxpayer. Mm-hmm. Number three, it's affecting our economy. It's affecting the way we live our life because we can't get it under control. And I would even argue that people who are vaccinated, it's safer to be around than somebody who's not vaccinated.
All right,
let's go to tea.
Let's do it.
So there we have it. There it is. We have any tea? Hello!
Butler J. Rhymes.
J. Rhymes. I think he's worked out a lot. He's walking very gingerly today. He seems to be. You're not your swift self. You're a little tight in the hamstrings.
Class, hard.
Well, you're trying to. Okay. He was coming in very slow. So I see his Instagram, and I see him at the gym a lot.
Yes.
So I'm thinking maybe
he's filling out his shirt.
Maybe he's got some tight hamstrings or something. Thank you very much. What do we got today, J. Rhymes?
Raspberry pomegranate.
Raspberry pomegranate.
Raspberry pomegranate.
Thank you very much. Excellent job. Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers. Oh, it smells really raspberry.
Wow. Do you know I walked by the Fulton Center? I walked by the Fulton Center, which is 2 blocks away, and they opened up a little tea stand there. Yes. So I was thinking to myself, for our next Tuesday tea, maybe I'll surprise the crew and check out what teas they have there.
That'd be great. This is really good, though.
Right? What do you think?
I would like that.
All right, so let's see what's in our tea news.
Okay.
So yesterday, President Biden insulted a reporter with some very foul language, Yo-Yo. He said, boy, this reporter's a stupid SOB. The press went into the White House for a photo op following a roundtable chat as the journalists were being ushered out. Fox News White House correspondent Peter Doocy asked Biden if he thought inflation could be a political liability for the midterms, and Biden responded under his breath, seems he thought the mic was turned off. Boy, this guy is a stupid SOB. Let's play the tape.
That's a great asset. More inflation. What a stupid son of a...
Well, Biden didn't want to answer the question.
I love it. I love it.
Biden didn't want to answer the question.
Well, it wasn't really a question because he was actually being taken out. He was being taken out of the the place, and like Fox News reporters, they always were trying to.
They just wanted a soundbite to say inflation's going up, scare everybody.
Yeah, that was it.
Now
look at the guy. Look at him.
Now,
Doocy.
Doocy says he didn't hear what Biden said and was told by other reporters. Doocy was interviewed about the jab shortly following Biden's remarks, and one Fox News host saying, "I think the president's right. You are a stupid SOB."
That was funny.
Let's see what Doocy had to say about that.
So, Doocy, I think the president's right. You are a stupid SOB.
Yeah, nobody has fact-checked him yet and said it's not true.
All right, so a little.
Listen,
It got under Biden's skin, obviously.
Yeah. Trump has said worse, so I'm not mad at it. Get to see a little character, little personality with Biden. I'm okay with it.
And what do you think of this, Pete Davidson? He always seems to make our tea.
He's like the new.
He's the new tea guy.
Tea guy, yeah.
Yeah. And Colin Jost, he's the head writer on SNL. He does the Weekend Update. They bought a Staten Island ferry. Why?
Random.
Where it's random stuff.
It's so random. Like to have that much money to just get.
I think they're both from Staten Island.
Yeah.
They probably put in like 2 or 3%, and it's all for publicity. And they get it. I can't imagine they put up a lot of their own money for it.
$280,000. Where else are you gonna get that money?
No, they did it with a third partner that's unrevealed. Some unrevealed third partner. It's Paul Italia.
He's like a real estate agent?
Guy. I think he put up most of the money. That's my opinion. And they're just using
But
it
why?
for-
What are they gonna do with it?
What are they gonna do with this ferry? They say they're gonna make it into a club. That doesn't sound like a fun club to go to. Some broken down ferry. Would you go to some broken down ferry club?
I mean, absolutely. Like, because it's not broken down, but like two, like you can, revamp it. There are no ferry clubs out there. It actually could be a brilliant idea if they really like fix it up, gut it and have a ferry
It was
club.
built in 1965. I think the only reason why it would be successful is because they got some celebrities to be part of it.
Right.
Other than that, I don't think anybody would care less to go some broken down ferry. That's my opinion.
If it's a club, I don't know. I think it could be pretty smart.
And Yo-Yo, for the first time in decades,
What?
Jamaican four-man bobsled.
Yes.
I'm already on the next story. I'm excited about this.
Yes, me too.
The Jamaican bobsled team qualified for the 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics.
Yeah.
It's the journey of the first Jamaican Olympic bobsled team to the Winter Olympics since Calgary in 1988.
That's deep.
Yes. Now the 2022 four-man team is rounding up some excitement from their teams. Team Jamaica wrote on Instagram, breaking Jamaica, we have a bobsled team heading to Beijing.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
That's super dope.
That's super cool. The four-man roster for Jamaica is not confirmed yet, but Sean Wayne Stevens is expected to pilot the sled. Stevens and brakeman Nimroy Turgot, both members of the 2022 Jamaican Bobsled Olympic team, spoke with Today about their team qualifying for the games. Do we have a video of that or no?
Of what?
No, we don't have a video. Okay, so Stevens said, we put in a lot of work in the last 4 years to achieve what we've achieved. Over the lockdown, we've even come up with our own way to get the training done because we didn't want to leave any stone unturned. And for the first time, Team Jamaica qualified in 3 bobsled events. The 4-man, the 2-man, and the newly added women's monobob event. So they have a women's team going too.
That's dope.
That is very,
it's
very
crazy
cool.
too because like growing up, my favorite movie is Cool Runnings.
Is that your favorite movie?
My favorite movie. So, like, it's wild to me, one, that it was based on a true team, back in 19...
Great
This
movie.
is an amazing, iconic movie.
Iconic movie. The guys, they're like, we're going to start trading, and they go into a refrigerator.
Right, right. And John Candy,
He's dead now, John Candy,
he's dead. And so, like, that's a movie that I grew up watching. So to see Jamaica finally coming back, it's almost like the excitement that you had in that movie where they were like, oh my God, I can't believe Jamaica's representing and bobsled, because you would never think that. But I feel like it's almost like, a newer version of Cool Runnings.
And by the way, I don't know what the GoFundMe page is. I only know this because Zach, again, making the show 2 days in a row, he sent me this. He goes, did you see Jamaica bobsled? He goes, and there's a GoFundMe page. And I said, just give me the link for the GoFundMe page. Oh, it's to get bobsleds. So I said, send me the GoFundMe page. But he says he couldn't find it. But we're going to find it.
I love that. I love that.
Oh, we found it. Where is it? We have.
That's it right there.
That's it right there? Okay, give it to me later. I'm gonna.
Yeah, I love that because, and then even in the movie, like I said, Cool Runnings is my favorite. Like, you see how they made do with what they had, in Cool Runnings, like when they were practicing out in Jamaica and stuff. Right. So it's like all raggedy stuff. So it's literally like we're living in the real Cool Runnings.
You're gonna be rooting for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Number one for sure.
I just want to make sure they get there. Wouldn't it be great if they get a medal? How sick would that be?
I think that they will. Listen, that's what Carol Anderson, the Tiger, said. Yo, you sound like a real Jamaican. I am. Low key, I am.
All right, we gotta move on here, yo.
Yes.
It's Tick-tock time, and in this edition of Tick-tock time, I answer questions about green cards, asylum, and winning the jackpot in the lottery. Let's watch. If you're filing an I-130 visa petition for your wife and you have a green card, you're probably going to wait somewhere from 12 to 24 months for the I-130 visa petition to get approved, and thereafter at the National Visa Center, at least another 6-9 months because of COVID. So you got to figure right now somewhere between 2 to 3 years to bring your wife up. If she is a following to join, then you can contact the U.S. Embassy directly. Probably will be a lot faster. You're blaming the lawyer for losing the asylum case. We would have to review the entire record and see if there was ineffective assistance of counsel. I'm not sure if they were put in removal, where they are, what their situation is. You would need an attorney consultation. No, it doesn't give you any opportunity to get a green card or a work visa, but if you have a social security number, the lottery is not asking you for your immigration status. I know that for a fact because one of my clients who was illegal won the lottery and got millions of dollars.
All right. Well, I actually have a public service announcement. 29 Super C is also saying that Trinidad and Tobago also has a 4-man bobsled team. So big ups to Trinidad and Tobago as well.
Bobsled team.
Yeah. So this is big, and I see. I Googled it real quick. It said returns to the Olympics after 20 years as well.
Trinity
So
too? Wow.
yeah. So this is a big time for the Caribbeans.
Wow.
I love it.
It's great, especially I love it when the countries that have no snow at all.
I love it. Yeah. I absolutely love it.
All right, you ready to get into some meat and potatoes, Yo-Yo?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Some meat and potatoes. You got some immigration questions. I got some answers. By the way, I don't know why, but the lines are very light right now. Very, very light. So if you call, you're definitely going to get your immigration questions asked and answered. 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-529-5465, 212-227-8933. If you call us right now, our lines are light. You're still going to get in there. Shocking. It's usually not like this. All right, let's go to Mohammed in Chicago, Illinois. Mohammed.
Hi, Brad. How are you? Good. I have a question, Brad.
Yes.
How long is it taking for a U.S. citizenship application to be processed in Chicago?
I mean, everybody's a little different, but citizenship's been going pretty fast, less than a year.
Less than a year?
Yes.
And my second question is, how long is a re-entry permit for a green card holder is valid for?
On the face of it, you're asking a re-entry permit? or an advanced parole, U.S. reentry permit?
Re-entry permit for a green card holder.
3 years.
3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And how many times you can get a re-entry permit on a green card?
As many times as they buy your story that you intend to return to the United States and permanently reside here. I've done it as many as 3 times over a 9-year period for my clients.
But when I checked on the internet, it's showing re-entry permit is valid for 2 years.
I don't know. I've seen 3 years and throughout my entire career. Maybe they changed it recently. I don't know about it.
Okay. Thank you, Brad. That's all my questions. Have a great day.
Good luck. All right, let's go to Stacy in Queens. Stacy. Stacy in Queens. Stacy in Queens. Going once.
Hi, Brad. How you hear me?
Yep, now I do. What's going on?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was on mute.
Okay.
I have a question, but before I ask my question, I went on USCIS website today, and I was checking their processing times for the I-130, and based on the center that I am connected to, when I checked their processing time in my category, which is the unmarried son and daughter of U.S. citizen over 21, I think that's the F1, right? Their processing time that they're doing now was 2017 May, and
you're talking about the I-130 getting approved.
Yes. Okay. So their processing time that they're on with the center that I'm connected to, it's showing me that they're at 2017 May, and I think my priority date is a year before that. So I wanted to know, should I have my mom send them an email?
Absolutely. Are you looking at the office where your I-130 is currently?
Yes,
there's National Benefit Center, there's Vermont Service Center, Southern California. Are you looking at where your application currently is?
Right. So I'm looking at the I-130 processing time for my center, which is I'm in the California center.
Okay. So when were you transferred to the California center?
I think that was my original.
That was the original.
I came on my I-130, right?
Okay. All right. Yeah, absolutely. Contact them. If they passed you, then you should be contacting them.
Should I have my mom send an email, or should I do a service request or something like that? Because I was reading.
Either one works for the time being, and see what they have to say, and then come back and report to me.
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right. Let's go to Moya in Queens. Moya.
Okay, good evening. I just have one question. So my son went and did an interview in Jamaica a couple of days ago, and he got a 221G form. I just want to know, how long do I have to wait before that is processed?
Well, 221G means that he's getting denied. What's the issue?
They're asking for joint sponsored.
Okay, so how old's your son?
He's 21.
So who sponsored him?
His stepfather.
The biological father or stepfather?
Stepfather.
Okay, stepfather, and he filed the I-130 before the 21st birthday, so he's an immediate
relative. Yes, he did.
Okay.
Yes, he did.
So what the issue is that your income was not sufficient? Is that what they're saying?
Okay, so on the form, on the his W-2, it was sufficient, but on the form that we sent in, I think there was an error on the form, and it says we have more than the amount of persons that actually live in the house. It's saying it's more, so that's where the error came in. So when they went through,
then you're better off just to get a joint sponsor. All right, make sure that they fill out the forms properly this time. Submit it with 3 years tax returns and a job letter. Get it back to the U.S. Embassy, and then you're going to wait 120 days.
Okay, then. Thank you.
All right, good luck.
Okay, thank you.
All right, let's go to Mohammed in Newark. Mohammed.
Yes, hello.
How are you?
Hi, Glenn. How are you? Good.
Good.
I have 2 questions.
Yes.
The first question is, I have a brother back in Africa that he get the visa, like I don't know, the lottery visa.
Yeah, I don't understand what you're saying. You have a son.
2000.
Stop again.
2020.
Start again, Mohammed.
I have a brother. That gets.
Stop. Are you on a speakerphone?
No, I have my AirPod.
Okay, take that off and just talk normally into your phone.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right. 1 second. All right.
Much better. Much better. Okay, so what is your question now?
Hello?
Yeah, what is your question now?
Yes, I said I have my brother that get a student, a lotto visa since 2020. Well, he was waiting for interview. He told me, but until now he never get any appointment.
This is
for
the
interview.
visa lottery.
Yes.
Was his number current?
What's that?
They have priority dates for visas depending on what number your lottery won. Was his number current? Do you know or you do not know?
No, I don't know that.
There was.
Maybe I can. Maybe I can find it out and reach out to you.
Yeah, and now there was litigation. He had to have gotten, under the law, he had to have gotten his green card by September 30th, 2021. So we're about 4 months past. There was litigation to allow, because of COVID, to keep those green cards set aside and still process them months later. Whether or not your brother is part of that, I would have to look at all of his paperwork and see.
Okay. All right. Apart from that, I have a second question.
Sure.
That's gonna be quick. Yeah. And I want to know if by the time you get a I-130, how long it can take for you if you're in removal to get an individual hearing?
If you're in removal and you're talking about filing an I-130 based on marriage?
Yes.
That takes about 18 months to get approved. I can tell you right now, most immigration judges, your next hearing is going to be in 2025, believe it or not. At this point, the way they're so backed up.
Oh.
All right.
So it will take about 18 months to get
the I-130 approved, and then you'll probably be done with court in 2025. It's my guess. 2026. Oh. It's like 2, 3, 4 year process these days.
Okay.
All right. Hang in there.
All right. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Hang in there. All right. Let's go. And by the way, we have a lot of open lines, guys. So if you want to call, call now. Other than that, we're going to have a very short meat and potatoes today. 1-800-529-5465. It's free. Why not? You can speak to me. 1-800-529-5465. That's the number to call to get on our show. Of course, internationally, +1-212-227-8933. And you call and you can say hi. How are you? All right, let's go to Lynette in Baltimore.
Hi, Brad. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
Fine, thank you. I just have a quick question. My husband and I were married in 2019, and then we attempted, I was supposed to file. I'm a U.S. citizen. My husband is from Nigeria, and so we were told to wait, of course, in 2020 with all of the, Trump bans. And then because of COVID and job loss, we're finally filing now, but was curious about filing online. Does that expedite?
No, not really. No, but go do it. It's fine.
Okay, and then secondly, there are some companies I know as an attorney you're going to file on this, but Boundless and Citizens Pass, are they worth it? Should we consider those or just file it online? I think I'm overthinking this process at this point.
I think you should do one of two things. Either if you feel confident that you can do it yourself, then do it. If otherwise, if you have doubts that whether you're doing it right or not, you should go to an attorney. It's my opinion. You shouldn't be going to non-lawyers. You shouldn't be going to, paralegals that fill out forms. Ultimately, there's a lack of responsibility by all of these people. There is a responsibility for an attorney. They're licensed. They want to keep their license. They went to law school to learn how to do this. So, to me, when you go to any of these places, it's buyer beware. This is your life,
and then
your husband's life.
Okay, and the last question, some folks say, overloaded with all this evidence. We have so much evidence. But then some lawyers say it doesn't take all of that. I guess I'm just like,
You just have to file the forms. You bring all the evidence of the proof of the bona fides of the marriage to your interview.
Okay.
All right.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
All right,
Have
luck.
a good night.
Okay.
Bye.
All right, let's go to Cynthia in the Bronx. Cynthia.
Hello?
Hi, Cynthia. How are you?
I'm fine. Brad, how are you?
Good. What's going on?
Sure. I've overstayed my B1, B2 visa. What options do I have to get a green card?
All right. First of all, you got to shut off the whatever's in the background. Number one.
Okay.
I'll be happy to help you. Where are you from?
Yep. New York, Bronx.
No, originally.
Ghana.
Okay. And when did you come to the United States?
October 2019.
Okay. And you're single? You're married?
No.
That was one or the other. Single or married?
Single.
Boyfriend? Relationship with anybody?
Not yet.
Not yet. How old are you, if you don't mind if I ask?
44.
Okay. Do you have children?
Yes.
Where are they?
Ghana.
Okay. Your parents?
Ghana.
Okay. So you're here alone?
Yep.
Okay. Were you married in Ghana?
Yes.
Okay. Are you divorced from this man, or you're still married to him?
Divorce.
You're divorced from him. Where was the divorce? In Ghana?
Ghana.
Okay. Do you know if this is a legitimate divorce?
Yes.
Because a lot of divorces that come from Africa, they turn out not to be good divorces. But you're positive this is a good divorce?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever been the victim of a crime?
What?
Have you ever been the victim of a crime?
No.
Have your parents ever applied for a green card ever in their lifetime?
No. No.
Never. Okay. I mean, short at this point, not knowing you more than I do, short of you getting married in a bona fide marriage, you don't really have many options. Because you've overstayed your time. And if you overstayed your time, the only way you can go home and come back is if you have a spouse or a parent here, which you don't have. The only way you can do any type of job sponsorship or investments or anything like that is to be, as an overstay, is to be 245I, which you're not, because you never had anything filed before. You have no family here who can assist you. And even if you want to get sponsored in a job, you can't, because you would go home 10 years to Ghana and be stuck. So the only option you have that I see at the moment, I mean, we can meet and maybe I can come up with more stuff, is just off the top of my head, would be, fall in love in a bona fide marriage.
Okay.
All right, but other than that, you don't really have options at the moment.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
All right, sorry about that.
Thank you.
Okay. Lisa in Manhattan. Lisa.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, good night. So I have a question. So I came here in 89 and I got myself in trouble. Anyway,
do you have a green card?
Yeah, I have a green card.
From 89?
And
from 1989?
Yeah, that's when I came here.
How old were you? How old were you when you came in 1989?
17, 18.
Was your mom or dad a citizen before you were 18?
No, she didn't become a citizen.
Okay. And
So-
what was the trouble?
Drugs.
When?
This was in 91.
What was it? Possession? Sale? What are we
They say
talking-
it was possession. They say it was possession.
Okay, possession of what?
Marijuana.
Okay, when you say they say, what did you plead guilty to? This is all that matters, is what you plead guilty to.
Well, I plead guilty to it because I got caught with
You
it.
pled guilty to possession of marijuana.
Yeah.
Are we talking about a joint, a bag, a garbage bag? What are we talking about?
No, just a bag.
Okay, so more than 30 grams, but not like pounds.
Exactly.
Okay, is
I
this your
think-
only
yeah.
arrest ever?
My only arrest ever. So this is what happened.
Okay.
I was facing a deportation, went to deportation hearing, and basically I got let off. So the judge...
You won your case?
Yeah, I won my case.
Did you file something, does this sound familiar, 212C waiver?
That's what they gave me.
Okay, good.
That's what I got.
When was this?
This was a long time.
Okay. So why don't you do your citizenship?
That's what I was calling to 100%, see if I was...
You are.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm just scared to go ahead
let me tell you why. Okay, so you won't be scared anymore. Okay. Number one, you have a waiver. So the waiver waives everything that happened in your life from the moment time started with Adam and Eve all the way up to the day the judge gives you a waiver, all is forgiven.
Oh.
Okay. Everything that happens after that waiver is not forgiven. All is forgiven before. So once you get a waiver, they can't put you back in deportation for the same thing again because it's already been forgiven. So even if you weren't eligible for citizenship, they can't do anything to you anyway. You got the waiver. Now, let me finish. Now, the next thing. So we know you're safe if you file for your citizenship. The next thing is, are you eligible for citizenship? Well, to become a citizen, you have to have 5 years good moral character. You just told me this is your only arrest, so you have 30 years good moral character. And you can't have any aggravated felonies after November 17th, 1990.
I was told nope.
You have a conviction for possession of marijuana, which under law, possession of marijuana is not an aggravated felony. It's a drug offense, but not an aggravated felony. I assume you pay your taxes. I assume everything else is okay. I assume you've been physically present in the United States for the last 5 years. You have an open and shut case. You got an open and shut case to become a citizen. Do it.
Okay, I'm going to see you then. I have to make an appointment.
Okay, Lisa. Hold on.
All right. Yeah.
All right. Let's go to Ira or Aria in Los Angeles.
Yes, hi, Brad. How are you? Very good. Thank you so much for all what you do for people. This is so wonderful.
Oh, thank you. My pleasure.
I have two questions. First question, my friend, she's applying for I-130 based on marriage. And first question is, she's applying for, she just want to know, I-130, I-130A, I-485, I-765, I-864, and she doesn't know which forms she has
I-131 for the travel document.
Yes, but she doesn't want that. But she doesn't know I-130, all this. Who signs what?
Okay. The I-130 signed by the U.S. citizen husband. The I-130A is signed by your friend who's getting the green card. The I-485 is signed by your friend who's getting the green card. The I-765 for the work permit is signed by your friend getting the green card. The I-864 affidavit of support is signed by the U.S. citizen husband.
Yes, the second question about I-864, her husband said that he does, because he keeps some business. He said that I don't want to show my tax returns and all this stuff. Just find some other sponsor. I will.
Too bad.
Too bad?
Too bad.
What she has to do?
You have to, have a joint tax return with your husband. So if he's not going to show his taxes, he's got to show them because you got to do a joint tax return. You got to show you have a financial commitment to each other. You have to have a joint bank account. You got to be paying your bills together. I say too freaking bad to the husband.
Yeah. She said, why? What's happened? Everything is okay, but I don't know.
Well,
three years.
He can't have his cake and eat it, or make his bed and sit in it, or I don't know, whatever the saying is.
What to do now?
Tell the husband too freaking bad. That's not the law. It's not what is required. If you love me, do the right thing, and if you don't, then you know where you stand with him. Why be with him?
Yeah. What's happened if she applies without I-864? It will be returned?
Denied. Number one. Number two, if you're not doing a joint tax return, you're going to be denied anyway.
Yeah. June text. Okay. I see. Thank you so much.
right.
This is so wonderful answer.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay,
Appreciate
good
it.
luck.
Bye-bye.
Okay. All right. Al in Torrance, California.
Hello, Attorney Brad.
Hi, how are you?
Okay, thank you, sir. I have a question. I came here 2005. I got a Seaman/D visa, like a Seaman visa. One of the agents in the Philippines helped me to get here. And then now I got married 2020 in June. I got married to a U.S. citizen.
Right.
Is there any option for me?
Yes.
To get a green card without coming back to the Philippines?
No, you have to go to the Philippines because you entered on a crewman's visa, so that you're barred from adjusting, unless your spouse wants to join the military or is in the military or former military, because then you can get parole in place.
Okay, attorney. How about attorney? Because I have two kids here that are minors. One is minor 16.
This is with your wife?
My wife right now petitioned my kids from the
Okay.
Philippines.
So my answer to you is this. Your wife has to file an I-130 visa petition. Obviously, the military went right over your head. You didn't even hear what I had to say. Your wife's going to file an I-130 visa petition. You're going to get the I-130 approved. The case will be transferred to the National Visa Center. You're going to tell the National Visa Center you want to do what's called a provisional waiver. That waives the fact that you overstayed on your crewman's visa. It's forgiveness. Hopefully you get that waiver approved based on hardship to your spouse. You go back to the Philippines for 2 to 3 weeks. You prove it's a bona fide marriage. You get your green card, you return. Just like tens and tens and tens of thousands of other people have done in your exact situation.
Okay, thank you, attorney.
All right, hold on. Let's go to Bash Day in Baltimore.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Hi. I'm a U.S. citizen, and I filed for my son in Jamaica. That's 9 years old.
Great.
And I put in everything. There's no documents needed. I don't understand what is like holding up the process or what I need to do to.
When you say you put in everything, no documents needed, do you have an I-130 visa petition approved?
No.
What have you done so far?
I did fill out the I-130.
Okay. When did you become a citizen, by the way?
I've always been a U.S. citizen. I'm married to a green card holder, and it's his child.
Oh, his child, not yours. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's the I-130 visa petition. You have to get the I-130 approved. Then it gets transferred to the National Visa Center, and then they get your stepson gets documentarily qualified, and then he goes for an interview in Jamaica. What's holding all of this up is COVID, because immigration officers are quitting, leaving, have to be retrained, working from home, and embassies are closing and opening and closing and opening.
Oh, because this has been since March of 20.
When have you filed?
March 25th, 2021.
Okay, and so it's not yet a year yet. The I-130s are taking a little over a year. If April, May rolls around, you still haven't heard, then call me back.
Okay.
All right?
All right. But I can't call or anything there?
You
or?
can call to your heart's content. It's not going to make one iota of a difference, but if it makes you feel better, call.
Okay, I was just asking that because people have said that to me.
Yeah. I mean, I trust me. You can call. They'll say yes. It's just a lot of spinning of wheels. So you'll call. You'll speak to somebody. They'll say, "I'll put in an inquiry." They put an inquiry. You don't hear back from them, or you hear back from them. Your case is being processed. It's just shuffling paper, but it doesn't make your case go any faster.
Yeah, the thing is, I can't speak to anyone. It just keeps hanging up on me.
Right. Well, it's even worse.
You don't have a number?
What? It's the same number, the customer service number. That's what I said. It's not even. Don't even bother.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
But if you haven't heard from them by April, May, there's other things we could do once they're out of processing time.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
I'm covered. I got it.
You got it.
I got it. You see these babies? Dead on arrival. All right, let's go to Donna. Donna, how are you? My fault. I didn't look at the batteries before we started the show. Donna,
Hi, Brad.
How you doing?
I'm not doing good, but I need my daughter. Okay, when I was a green card holder, I filed for 6 kids. Okay. So far I got 3, and I put on a grandson, and I got him 2. So that's 3 and the grandson. Now there's a daughter who was on the filing at the said time. She has gotten everything. All the fees have been paid. Everything. Now, she has been approved 1 year now, and I have been, you know.
What is this in Jamaica? Is this Jamaica?
Yes, there are.
Is she married or single?
Yes, Brad.
Is she married or single?
No, single.
I don't know what
single.
I don't know what you did, why one came and the other didn't. If they were all done at the same time, I don't have an answer for you. I know what's going on at the embassy. They're just completely backed up.
Okay, Brad. I got an email in November from them saying that all our papers has been approved, and they gave her 60 days. The 60 days was
who
up
did you
on
get
Monday.
an email from?
From the embassy. The embassy.
From
I know
the
them.
embassy in Jamaica.
Yeah. Yeah. Here.
That's
NBC.
not the U.S. Okay, that's not the U.S. embassy. Okay, that's the national. That's why you have to be specific who you're hearing from. Okay.
National Visa Center.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, Jamaica's completely backed up. They're prioritizing marriages over adult children. They have people who quit. There was a lot of people at the U.S. Embassy who quit over the last 2 years working there because of COVID. They want to come back to the United States. They didn't want to live in Jamaica. They have to bring new people in. They got to be trained. Those people quit, leave. This is what's happening everywhere, not just with government, but everything. So unfortunately, and then on top of it, Jamaica keeps getting locked down and then not, and blah blah blah, back and forth. So it is a huge problem. The only
9 years now, Brad. 9 years.
Yeah. The only thing you can do is you can write a letter to the National Visa Center and say, please expedite this, and give your saddest, most humanitarian reasons you can come up with.
Okay, I'll do that.
All right.
I called them and they said, we don't have a date for it. Yeah, I realize that. Oh my God, what a problem.
It's a problem.
9 years, and I'm a citizen. Oh my God.
It's a problem.
I'm a citizen. Oh my God.
I know.
Thank you, Brad.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, good luck. Let's go to Lisa in the Bronx. Lisa.
Hello.
How you doing?
Hi, Brad. How are you? Good evening. How are you?
Good evening.
Right. So I'm calling on behalf of my husband. He filed his daughter back in 2019, and we got the information from the visa center that the application went through and everything is accepted. We're just waiting for interview date in Jamaica. So my question is the priority that I see here. I'm not sure if I understand it because it says here that the priority is October 31st, 2019. That's the priority date.
I don't know what you're looking at.
I'm looking at I'm actually, I have an account with the Visa Center.
Okay.
So they're able to give me.
You married a U.S. citizen.
Yes.
I mean, you're a U.S. citizen.
We're both U.S. citizens. Yes.
Okay. All right, and you're sponsoring who?
My stepdaughter, which is his daughter.
How old is she?
Well, at the time that we filed her, she was 18.
Okay, but that's fine. She's still an immediate relative. And when were you documentarily qualified for her?
I'm sorry, one more time?
When does the National Visa Center say she's DQ, which is documentarily qualified? Meaning you completed all the paperwork at the National Visa Center.
The date that I have here is September 3rd of 2020. Okay. It says that all paperwork is documentally qualified.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, again, it's the same thing. I know it's frustrating. I don't have a good answer for you. I'm telling you what the embassy's telling us, which is they are overwhelmed, backlogged, and it's because of shutdowns, COVID, people quitting, having to be trained. Then after they're trained, they quit anyway. Then you got to get new people in, and and embassies close because of the pandemic, and then people are working from home, and it's a huge, huge, huge problem. And the only thing you can do is request humanitarian expedites. They will not expedite every case, obviously, but if you have a really good reason why your stepdaughter needs to jump the line of everybody else who is suffering and waiting, maybe they'll do it.
Okay, so she's at the time she was 18. Now I believe December of this year, 2022, she'll be 21.
Even if she turns 24, she's still under 21 for immigration purposes on the Child Citizenship Act. So she's fine.
Okay, perfect.
All right, so she's not aging out.
Okay, excellent.
All
right, I'll try to write that letter.
You can do. Yeah. All right, good luck.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
All right, Richard in Kingston. Richard.
Hi, hey, Brad.
Hey, how are you?
Thank you for taking my call. I'm doing okay.
All right, what's going on?
Yeah, I had a question about that C1 visa. I would like to know if I already submitted my I-130 from 2020 and I overstay my time on a C1 visa, would it still be able to be processed?
How long did you overstay your time?
Let's say 6 months or so forth.
All right, so you have a 3-year bar. So it's more than 180 days, less than 10 years. You have a 3-year bar. So you can't go for an interview at the U.S. Embassy for 3 years from the day you left the United States. So yes, file the I-130 and process it, and hopefully your interview is more than 3 years and you won't have a problem.
No, hold on. The I-130 has already been submitted. So I overstayed in 2021.
So you can't go for an interview until 2024.
Oh, so even though it was submitted before, I would still have to wait until that bar is ended. Okay. And would I need to go back to my home country before it's processed?
Where are you
or
now?
Could I do it in the U.S.?
Where are you now?
Well, I'm in Jamaica now.
So why would you? Where else are you gonna go?
Oh, so if I was in the U.S. though, would I still need to go back to Jamaica?
On a crewman's visa, yes.
Yes. Oh, okay.
You would have had to have gone anyway. Now, who's sponsoring you?
My spouse.
Okay. So you could always go in before 2024 and apply for a waiver. There's no guarantee it'll get approved, but in 2024 you'll be back.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Good luck.
Okay.
And by the way, if you didn't get your immigration questions asked and answered, you could always follow me on Instagram at @RealBradBernstein. You follow me on Instagram at @RealBradBernstein. You could drop me a DM. I'll try to answer your question as best as I can. You can also follow us at Bradshaw Live. You don't want to watch 2 hours of Brad and Yo-Yo. That's okay. You can watch 30 seconds of us every day on at Bradshaw Live on Instagram. And of course, you can follow our fastest growing social media platform, TikTok. You can leave your questions, comments, and issues. I may, although I cannot guarantee you, but I may answer them and give you a personalized video that everybody can see. And of course, Yo-Yo.
Yep, and you guys can follow me at Yonathan Elias TV on Instagram.
And later in the show, Yonathan is going to speak to certified business and life coach and author of The Stories of Immigrant Women Entrepreneurs in the United States of America, Saloua Ibaline. Did I pronounce her name right?
Saloua
Ibaline. About her immigration story coming from Morocco to Belgium to the United States.
Yep, and in this VIP outtake, Ukrainian-American inventor Alina Kravchenko tells Brad about the moment she found out she had U.S. citizenship.
You smile, the whole world smiles back. Yo, remember that.
Now I understand your mom broke down in tears when she got her U.S. citizenship. She was very emotional. Did it have any meaning to you at the time because you were a teenager? Did you realize how lucky you were to have automatically derived citizenship?
Honestly, I did not realize until many years later. She passed her citizenship test, which automatically granted me citizenship. And I received a letter from the White House that I am a citizen along with my documents. And she picked me up from school one day, and I remember her like pulling over. I'm gonna start crying. Sorry.
It's okay.
And like she had this little American flag, and she had the paper, and I looked at her and I was like, "What is this?" And you're finally American. I was like, I thought I always was. And I'm like, do I need paper to prove that to me? And she's like, well, you are officially American. And she said to me, you don't even know how many doors this is going to open for you. And she was so right. Because like getting into college and into like a job, like all of these things.
All right, 10. No, not 10. What am I talking about? This is not speed round.
No speed round,
I'm
not
jumping
yet.
ahead already. Damn. All right, social media check-in.
Yes.
What am I saying? One of those days, yo-yo. I jumped to the end of the show. We're not at the end yet.
Not yet.
No. All right, let's go.
All right, first one comes from Lisa Adesola Adedare, and that's a VIP Facebook member. I have petitioned for my spouse and stepkids. They're in Nigeria. I'm a U.S. citizen. Everyone is documentarily qualified. I have filed to expedite on humanitarian grounds. We're 7 months in from that. My attorney has sent it to my state representative, at which point am I able to file a mandamus. We've been at the NVC stage since August 2020.
1 year from the time you're documentarily qualified, you can think about a mandamus. Sending it to your state representative is absolutely useless. Sending a request to expedite is good, but sending it to your state representative is absolutely useless.
Okay, Akif Virani, a VIP Facebook member. My father applied for a green card through EB2 category and got an RFE for a birth certificate. These are the following documents he has. One is 2 affidavits from relatives, matriculation, a certificate, school leaving certificate, PAN card, Indian tax ID card, has his picture and date of birth, passport, visa reciprocity for India since he was born in 1959, and as per that birth certificate are unavailable. So does he still require non-availability of birth certificate from his home country, India, or are these documents enough?
You still need unavailability of birth certificate from your home country in India.
Okay, Chai Brown, a Facebook VIP member. If NVC reopened your DS-260 for a new update after you reviewed an interview appointment and you corrected a mistake on your information, would that affect your case?
I would assume so.
You wouldn't assume.
I said I would assume so.
You would assume so.
Right, you corrected it. They're now going to review what the correction is. I don't know what the correction was.
Okay.
The correction was I misspelled my name. That's one thing. The correction was a completely different identity.
Right.
You know, you say you're Yonathan Yo-Yo Elias and your name is Sam, Johnson. They're going to say, hey, what the heck's going on here? Thank you for correcting this absolute misrepresentation, but you still made a misrepresentation.
Exactly.
So, depends what it is.
All right. Mohammed Sao on YouTube. My question is 237A1B, ban, 4 years ban, or 10 years ban?
What?
So is 237A1B, is that anything? A 237A1B
come
ban?
on, don't give me sections of law. You want me to memorize the INA section of law?
Absolutely. 237.
Section 237, what?
Let me see.
A1B.
A1B.
Oh, it actually pops up.
So is it a 4-year ban or a 10-year ban?
It's a 10-year ban. It's about deportability.
Okay.
Okay.
Saloua Ibaline on YouTube. By filing a re-entry permit for the second time, will it be the same processing time as someone who filed a complete I-485?
A re-entry permit? It
for
takes
the second
a long time. As long as you physically file it while you're in the United States, go and leave. They'll mail it to you in your home country. You want to stay out for 3 years anyway, so who cares how long it takes to get you?
Jones Khalid on YouTube. It's been 120 days since the petitioner replied to annoyed with everything USCIS requested, but still no update. What can the petitioner do?
Wait.
Anne on YouTube. My husband's case is stuck in the U.S. Embassy in Kabul, which is closed now. I want to transfer it to the U.S. Embassy in Germany. Both NVC and U.S. embassies in Germany are not helpful. What do I do to transfer my case? They gave me a new case number for Frankfurt that is not working, and my previous case number still shows my case is at Kabul.
You don't get to decide this stuff. If you're asking for a third country to process your husband, you got to start contacting third countries and see who's willing to do it. Just because you say, I want Germany, doesn't mean Germany has to do it. I would start contacting every embassy in the world until you find somebody who'll take your husband, and then get your husband there.
Dwayne Gordon on YouTube. Why was the visa refused after a 601A waiver was approved?
Because you were denied for another reason other than the reason for the 601A waiver.
And last one, Audrey Ellis on YouTube. My son who had filed for VAWA had done his biometrics about 4 months ago now. How long does it take for him to get his social security?
Say it again?
So my son who filed for VAWA had done his biometrics about 4 months ago.
He has to get his work permit first. It takes about 6 months. I'm just thinking about the 601A waiver.
Okay.
You want to know why most of them get denied after you do it?
Why?
The 601A waiver waives unlawful presence in the United States. So if you are undocumented in the United States, that is waived. The fact that you lived and worked here undocumented is not a reason to deny you. What's a reason to deny you? Misrepresentation. Maybe you entered on a false document. What's another reason to deny you? Poverty guidelines. What's another reason to deny you? They don't believe it's a bona fide marriage. I mean, you can think of a million reasons why.
Yeah.
All right. Saloua Ibaline.
Yep.
Got it? Is a certified business and life coach and author of the stories of immigrant women entrepreneurs in the United States of America. Yonathan spoke with Saloua about her immigration story coming from Morocco to Belgium to the United States. Let's watch.
Hey, Brad Squad. Yonathan Elias here with Saloua Ibaline, the certified business coach, marketing expert, and author of the recently published book, The Stories of Immigrant Women Entrepreneurs in the United States of America. Saloua, how you doing? I love your name, by the way. I love your name. Thank you for joining us today. First of all, let's talk about yourself. Saloua, where does this name come from? Let us know about your immigration story.
Sure. So I'm originally from Morocco. I was born there as well. And then I grew up in Belgium. So when I was a toddler, my mom and dad divorced. And then I ended up moving to Belgium with my mother. And we were sadly separated from my brothers and sister. And I didn't meet them until I was 14. And this was a big shock. Yeah, because I grew up as a only child, but my mom remarried eventually, and I got a sister from a second marriage. But my brothers and sister, I met them really when I was 14, and I remember this was really shocking because I was like, oh, but they look like me, but I don't know these people.
You guys have the same mom and dad. Now, why was it you that was picked to go with your mother? How did that separation occur?
Yeah. So for a long time, I actually didn't know. It was very strange. So based on what my mom told me, so my dad and my mom married very young. My mom was 14. My dad was 21. It was an arranged marriage because back in the 70s and 60s, that's what you were doing, especially in the small villages of Morocco. So they got married. It was not a marriage of love. It was just cultural. So after my mom got married with my father, they moved to his house with his family. And at that point, women don't really have much say. So you cook, you clean, you have children, and that's it. The foundation were already off. They ended up having 4 kids. My dad was not a faithful man, and he ended up meeting another woman, and he got her pregnant while my mom was pregnant of me. And then eventually he divorced my mom to go on with this other woman. Because a woman didn't have much rights back then, what happens is if a woman with children is divorced, she has to go back to live with her parents, which is a really bad image for that woman. It's very hard to get remarried after that. So she moved to her father. Her father had 2 wives, and it was perfectly legal back then as long as you take care of them. So they were both my grandmother and my other grandmother. They were living together, but the other woman didn't want my mom back. So it was a lot of struggle. She stayed there for a whole year, really being depressed. And so her only way out was to go live at her sister's house, who was in France. And back then, the borders between Morocco and France were open, because I don't know if you know, but Morocco is a former French colony. So they had like some agreements. So my mom moved there in hopes to bring the children with her. But last minute, my father decided to take the children, and he cut the pages of the passport of my brothers and sisters, and he only kept me with my mom. And the only reason it's because I was a baby and I was still breastfeeding, and he just didn't want to deal with that. My sister was 7 years apart and my brother is 11 years. So he kept those kids. And then I was the only one that went to Europe. And for the longest, I thought this was terrible. But then I realized how grateful I am and privileged, because that allowed me to do so much things moving forward, including the life I have today.
So speaking of you growing up in Europe, how was the experience different as being an immigrant in Belgium versus America?
I can totally speak about that because I'm twice an immigrant. The first time I didn't choose to be an immigrant, but the second time I did. And also I was an adult, so there's a lot of difference. When I was a kid, I think the biggest challenge for me as an immigrant kid in Belgium is lots of racism. And when you're a kid, you don't understand racism. You just see that you're not welcome. So I used to fight a lot in schools. I had to defend myself from fight. And so I would get kicked out, and my sister the same. We moved in Belgium in the 80s, and we went to a small village where we were the only Arabs. It was terrible. And then I had a unibrow and a lot of hair in my face.
Yeah.
So they were making fun of me all the time. But when we moved to Belgium, so my mom went to stay with her sister, and then she was really planning to bring her children back. She was at a crossroad, because now you have to think about, do I go to Europe to have a better life and then eventually bring my children back? Or do I stay and I have no rights and no way out? So she took that leap of faith, and then eventually got remarried with my stepdad, who was worse than my father. He was an abusive alcoholic man. And that's why it's something that I talk about today in my coaching, is like, you really attract what you think you deserve. And that's what she did. She attracted another guy who was not good. And out of that union, my youngest sister was born. But because he was so traumatic and he was very violent, eventually we were saved by the social services. So neighbors kept calling the police. They would come in when my stepdad was at work, and my mom didn't speak the language. So the first time they came in, she couldn't speak to them. So they came back when he was at work with a translator. And then she would explain, we don't have money for this. We don't have Pampers for the kids. This is the situation we live in. And he eventually found out, and he was really upset. So the social services moved us into women's shelter. And we lived in women's shelter. We moved there in 1987, and we moved out almost at the end of 1989. And I know that because I went back as I was writing this book, and I went back there and I met the social workers, and there was,
wow.
They didn't recognize me, but I recognized them.
Yeah,
you know,
of
they
course.
got older. And I did everything. I went to see my dad. I went to see my the women's shelter. I went to see my foster family. I did everything. It was very healing and important to write the story.
So how was that revisiting Belgium and Morocco for you?
For me, Belgium is also my country. I only left Belgium when I was 20 years old to move to the US. So I consider myself Belgium as well. And I went back every year to see my mom. What I did this year that was very different is I lived 6 months in Morocco. Now, mind you, I never lived in Morocco.
Right. Yeah.
This was my first time going to Morocco as an adult, and I got an apartment. I was like, I'm just totally trying to learn the system. And what I found out about Morocco is two things. Number one, the country is beautiful. So much resources, fruits, vegetables in abundance. I mean, the beauty of Morocco is exceptional. However, the mindset of the people is very difficult to deal with. And with that said, I felt really like a stranger. And so today I'm 38 and I'm like born in Morocco, raised in Belgium, live in the US. I don't feel like I have an identity. I don't know where I'm from. I don't feel like I could be completely Belgium. I'm not 100% Moroccan. My blood is. I speak the language, but when I speak it, I speak with an accent. People know I'm foreigner. And same here. When I'm here, people were like, well, where are you from? Where? I don't know. Moroccan, Belgium. If I say I'm from Belgium, they look at me like, but before that. And here, if I say I'm from Africa, people also are confused. Like, they expect me to be either darker skin or from, Central Africa. So I get all this confused saying.
So what was the story about you immigrating to the USA?
Growing up in Belgium because my mom, after the women's shelter, she had to find her way. And then she got into her first studio apartment, she started cleaning people's home. And she really started working really hard. And I saw that as a kid. But eventually she was struggling so much because she had 2 of us here and then 3 in Morocco. It's 5 children that she had to take care of. She had to find a way to help her. And she decided to put us in a foster family. So now the foster family was only part-time. It was a Caucasian couple who were educated, and they really gave us a lot of great foundation for me later on in life. Wow. You know, we went to theater, we went to horseback riding, we had bikes, we were going to museums. So this is really what I think helped me out, break that cycle of ended up, I don't know, I could have been, I mean, many things could have happened to me. I could have been depressed. I could have been in drugs. I mean, so many things. But instead, we really got this foundation with them, and they taught us how to write better because we were a mess in school. We were dealing with racism and all this fights, and we didn't really care about education because we thought survival. They helped us out for 6 years. And when I started to become a teenager, I was very rebellious, and we ended it. It was really our fault because at that point, I didn't want them in our lives. So we totally lost contact until last year, which is crazy. So over 25 years ago. So my immigrant story was because I knew I wanted better things for myself and my family. The only thing I could think of is to do something really big, especially because I was a female from a Muslim background, from a single mother with no money. I needed to prove myself and to my culture that I was worth it and I could do things to change the game. And the only thing I could see was United States. And to make it even worse, I picked New York City. I literally have nothing, no papers. I didn't speak English. I didn't have any money. I didn't have any contacts. But my eyes, I remember this till this day, I was so ready and I wanted to make it happen. So I did just that.
You know, it's almost like you took after your mother with, taking a leap of faith, you see?
Exactly. And you know what? I only realized this years later. I was like, oh my God, I'm repeating the cycle. My journey to New York really was so much struggle and challenges for an immigrant woman. And honestly, if I had to do it all over again at my age today, I wouldn't know.
Wow.
There was too much. But I'm also grateful that I've done this because my whole life is now very different and I have opportunities that I wouldn't have if I didn't leave. So my immigration story, I arrived in New York. I was like, okay, now what? We got to figure out a way to stay here. And so first thing I did is I applied to be an au pair, a full-time nanny, and it worked. So they gave me a visa for a year.
What kind of visa were you on when you came?
So I first started with a tourist visa because with Belgium, you could have 3 months to travel to the US as a tourist. And so while I was on the tourist visa, I applied for the J1 visa, which was the visa for au pair. And that was 1 year. But here's the thing. It didn't work out. It was a terrible pairing. The family and I wouldn't get along. That was just one woman, actually. Her husband had died and she had inherited his fortune. So she lived in a big mansion in Connecticut and she had 3 kids and they were all teenagers. So I felt like, why am I even here? So it didn't work out at all. And what she did, and I honestly, for the longest, I was very hurt and mad. But then with time goes on, I forgive. But she basically gave me 2 hours to leave. And she called the agency and she said, she's a danger for our family. What? So 2 hours to pick up my stuff and I didn't have enough time to pick up everything. And they dropped me off at the train station and I didn't know where to go. So what I did is I took the train to New York City, and on my way to New York, it was about 3 or 4 hour train ride. I had a flip phone and I just tried to contact everybody I knew to see if there was a contact in the US I could go to. I actually did find someone. 2 of my girlfriends from Belgium were actually in New York for the fashion week. What a coincidence. And they were both staying in Newark, which was like that area back then. And they were sharing a room, 3 of them. And then I joined them. And that was the beginning of me trying to figure out my next move. And I was still on the visa, but the visa was going to be canceled at any time soon because, I'm not in the family anymore, but I know I had a couple of weeks to figure it out. So from there, I still went through my contacts and then I found out another contact I have, and this is crazy. So when I was in Belgium, at the age of 17 to 20, I worked as a bartender in a nightclub. And the nightclub was owned by an Albanian family who happened to have the cousin who owns a restaurant in Edgewater, New Jersey. So I called them, and I was so good to them, and I had a great relationship with them that they called the cousin and said, listen, you need to help out Saloua and her two friends, because then I brought my two friends with me. And we arrived at this French restaurant. It was so fancy. Like, we came from sleeping on the floor to this beautiful place. And the manager came out. He goes, which one of you is Saloua? And I said, that's me. And he goes, my cousin spoke highly of you. And then for the next month or so, they actually helped me out. Not only that, later on, they sponsored me for my papers. Then I changed my visa yet, but I had to go back to Belgium to change it. But they sponsored me to go to English school. So that was my next level visa. And I think it's the F1 for English as a second language. I didn't have the money, and you had to prove that you had at least $10,000 in your bank account. And they did that. I got my first visa for English school. And then they gave me an apartment above the restaurant and a job. And I worked as a bartender, and I was able to pay for rent and school. And that lasted for about 2 years. So I changed from English school to the other school. So from there, I knew that after the English school, I had to go to college if I needed to stay in the country. I didn't really care much for college, but I knew this was the only way to have a couple of years to figure out my next move. The problem with college is that it costs a lot of money. And again, I was working bartending a couple of nights, and I was really struggling.
All right, so tomorrow we're going to hear more about Saloua's immigration journey to the United States and how she eventually became a United States citizen. But now, I think I'm at the time when we're going to answer 9 immigration questions.
You're at the right time now.
Now we're at the right time. I screwed up before. It's kind of on autopilot there for a second.
It's all good.
All right, Jilly. Ian, are you ready to go? We were like unstoppable yesterday.
Right.
Got a couple of days like this, I'm ready to complete this book.
All right, we'll see. These might be a little longer, so be short with your answers.
Uh-oh. You ready?
How long will it take for my sister to file for my visa?
At least 15 years.
Does a minor whose parent is a naturalized citizen automatically qualify for citizenship?
Yes, if they live together.
Can I help my mom fill out her green card renewal, or does it have to be just her and the lawyer?
You can fill it out for her.
Can the green card holders travel outside the U.S. for 5 days to a week, twice per month, without problems coming back?
As long as they're more physically in the United States than somewhere else.
Can DACA recipients get their green card if they marry a U.S. citizen?
If they made a legal entry, they can adjust here, or they can do a provisional waiver, go home, and come back.
Does filing the I-129 speed up the I-130 process for spouse visa?
The K-3 would speed it up.
Are poly marriages legally recognized in the U.S.? Is there a way to speed up an I-130 application?
Humanitarian expedite.
Where can you get forms to apply for H-1B visa?
USCIS.gov.
Yes! We did it! We did it!
I think we got
No, we got it. No, we got it.
He didn't tell us we did it.
What do you guys say in the comments?
I think we got to know. It's like one of those.
Yes, What are they saying in the comments?
Brad just missed the hat and a big gold chain.
So I think that means that we got it.
I think we got it.
Elizabeth Francis, we did it.
Everyone says
Carol
we got
Anderson,
it.
the Tiger, throwing up the
All right,
balloons.
you did it. We did it then. All right, let's do the balloons.
Woo!
We did it. They all say we did it. Yeah!
Raise the roof.
We did it.
We did it.
All right. All right, comments of the day. Comments of the day. William Williams, it takes a crazy person to know a crazy person.
There you
right?
go.
We all get two crazy people. All right.
All right, y'all. Our first comment of the day comes from It's Apple Pie saying, yesterday I was not having a good evening, but thank you, Brad. Your show always makes me smile. Thank you to the squad. Also, Jessica Leamy, Carol Anderson, the Tiger, Don, Violet. Big up.
Oh,
Yeah.
very good.
So this
That's
is a
right.
feel-good show. It makes people
Yes.
feel good. I like that.
Very good. I'm glad,
Yeah.
glad we bring
Even
some
with
joy.
us, when we, come in and we have a pretty bad day, we can
That's
come
right.
in and the
We're
show
happy at the
actually,
end.
yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you
But
guys.
that's very true. Sometimes I come in a bad mood. Sometimes you're
Yeah.
like, and
Yeah.
and then we walk out. We're happy.
Yeah.
Right?
So
it
that
comes
we
both
got to
ways.
thank the squad for that
right,
as well.
it comes both ways, yeah.
All right. Second comment of the day comes from Melanie Abiola Allen saying, hey, we tuned into the best immigration show in the world. Big up yourself, Uncle Brad and Yo-Yo. You're in the right place, y'all.
Aw, yeah,
I like that.
I like that.
I like that. Big up yourself.
Big up yourself. You don't wonder where she's from, right?
Yeah, right.
I don't know where she'd be from, right?
We are in Jamaica.
Right.
Come on.
Right.
All right, our third comment of the day. Don Harriet saying, Brad changes everybody's name. Duh. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes, he does. And our last comment of the day. This is when you try to end the show a little too early.
Yeah.
Burrell Harris saying, you're not at the end of the show yet, Brad. Stay with us. I'm enjoying the knowledge.
I went a little off the rails
Right.
there.
Chill
Yo-Yo
out.
brought me right back to the center.
That's my
Don't
job.
worry.
That's my job.
All right, Yo-Yo, we're going from your best day to your worst tomorrow, Hub Day.
Mom, don't watch tomorrow.
All right, Yo-Yo gets very embarrassed on Hub Day, but it's happening tomorrow. We'll see you all. Take care. So, Sam, as part of the production, we have to say this disclaimer at the end of the show. Do you mind reading it for me?
Okay, but you know, Brad, I have to do everything around here.
Forget it. I'll do it. The proceeding was information only and not specific legal advice. Consult an attorney about your individual situation. Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. To make an appointment with the Spar and Bernstein law firm located at 225 Broadway in New York City, call 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. Easy to remember, 1-800-LAW-LINK. That's 1-800-LAWLINK. Once again, make a call to 1-800-529-5465. And of course, link up with the law offices of Spar and Bernstein, located at 225 Broadway on the 5th floor. If I were you out there, make the call, make the link, make the connection, make it Spar and Bernstein. 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-529-5465. And now, conveniently located in Hartford, Connecticut on 1 Congress Street. Visit us in Connecticut or in New York at 225 Broadway. That's 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-LAW-LINK. 1-800-529-5465. What are you doing?